What if I told you that every time you see The Rock lay the smackdown in a Fast and Furious movie, or every time you laugh at John Cena in, well, anything, you're watching a legacy that was started over 60 years ago, and not in Hollywood. Not by some big shot producer, but by a guy in a silver mask who never, ever showed his face. A guy who fought zombies, vampires, and mad scientists for real. Or at least he made you believe it was real.
You suck, you jackass!
Howdy, thanks for clicking on this video to see what this jackass has to say. I appreciate ya. Alright, so before we get into it, I want to apologize in advance for all my Spanish-speaking friends. You're about to witness a massacre of your beautiful language, but I'm gonna do my best. I'm married to a Latina princess, so she'll set me straight at a later time. Anyway, on with the video. So before Hulk Hogan was telling kids to eat their vitamins, before Roddy Piper was chewing bubblegum and kicking ass in They Live, and long before The Rock was the biggest action star on the planet, there was El Santo. If you're from Mexico, you know exactly who I'm talking about. He wasn't just a wrestler, he was a superhero, a cultural icon. But for the rest of the world, he's the most important trailblazer you've probably never heard of. This isn't just a story about a wrestler who made a few cheesy movies. This is the story of a man who created the entire blueprint for what a wrestler could be on the big screen. He didn't just walk the path from the ring to Hollywood. He built the damn thing. And today, let's talk about how without him, some of your favorite action stars might have never got their shot. So let's go back. It's the 1940s in Mexico, and wrestling, or lucha libre as they call it, is blowing up. This dude named Rodolfo Guzman Huerta is in the mix. Born in 1917 in a small town called Tulancingo, he grows up with brothers who are all into wrestling. His big bro, Black Guzman, even invents some of those crazy flips and takedowns you see today. Rodolfo starts young, debuting around 1934 under names like Rudy Guzman or El Hombre Rojo, the Red Man. But he ain't a star yet, he's just grinding, learning the ropes in dingy arenas. Then in 1942, at age 24, his manager throws him into a group of silver-clad wrestlers. He picks the name El Santo, which means the saint. Sounds holy, but the dude starts as a bad boy in the ring, a rudo who beats people up without mercy. In his first match as Santo, he destroys this wrestler named Ciclón Veloz, then turns on the ref and rips his shirt off. The crowd goes nuts. Some hate him, some absolutely love the chaos. Think of it this way, it's like that moment when a villain steals the scene in a movie and suddenly everybody's talking about him. But here's where I think it gets epic. El Santo never takes off his mask. In lucha libre, the mask is everything. It's your identity, your mystery, your power. Losing it in a match is like getting your heart ripped out. Santo eventually turns this into his superpower. He wears it everywhere, eating, sleeping, even on planes. One legendary story goes that during a flight, he locked himself in the bathroom to eat so no one would see his face. Another time, he had to testify in court and showed up with bandages and sunglasses, claiming a wrestling accident. This guy's commitment was next level. It's kind of like Batman refusing to be Bruce Wayne in public. Over the years, he flips from bad guy to good guy, a technico, and becomes unbeatable. He wrestles for almost 50 years, from the 1930s to 1982. And check this out, he had over 15,000 matches, won titles like the Mexican National Middleweight Championship and the NWA World Welterweight Championship. His big rivalries against dudes like Black Shadow and Blue Demon. In 1952, he unmasks Black Shadow in what's called the mother of all matches. Tens of thousands pack the arena, and it's still talked about like the Super Bowl of wrestling. Then he goes on to beat Blue Demon for a title, sparking a feud that lasts forever. In typical wrestling fashion, they even team up sometimes, but the tension, it's there. It's chef's kiss territory. Now for the real game changer, movies. By the 1950s, Santo's so popular, he's in comic books, fighting crime like a caped crusader. In 1952, someone wants to make a movie serial about him, but Santo thinks it's a flop and says absolutely not. They do it anyway with another masked guy, and you know what? It hits big. Fast forward to 1958, a wrestler actor named Fernando Oces talks Santo into filming two flicks in Cuba, Santo vs. the Evil Brain and Santo vs. the Infernal Men. But then the Cuban Revolution hits and they can't release them right away. When they eventually do, they rebrand them as Santo movies, and boom, people absolutely love it. From there, it's a flood. Santo stars in over 52 films between 1958 and 1982. Yeah, 52. That's more movies than The Rock's done so far. And these aren't boring dramas, they're bonkers action horror mashups. Santo plays himself, of course, a wrestler by day, monster hunter by night. He fights Dracula, werewolves, zombies, zombies, mummies, even Martians. In Santo versus the Vampire Women, which came out in 1962, he battles sexy vampires trying to revive their queen. Santo in The Treasure of Dracula, which came out in 1969, has him inventing a time machine. Yes, I said time machine. And wrestling Dracula in the present day. One of my personal favorites is Santo versus the Mummies of Guanajuato. This is where he teams up with Blue Demon and Mil Mascaras against undead wrestlers. It's campy, low-budget fun like old school Scooby-Doo meets James Bond, but with suplexes. And check this out, these movies were huge hits. The Mummies of Guanajuato was his biggest moneymaker, pulling in crowds across Mexico and Latin America. Some got dubbed in English and shown in the US as Samson movies. Yeah, here in the States, they changed his name to avoid confusion. I wasn't alive, I can't attest to any of this. By 1977, the masked wrestler movie craze slows down a bit, but Santo keeps going till he's 65. He balances wrestling and filming like it's no big deal, often shooting scenes between matches. So why is this a trailblazer move? Well, before Santo, wrestlers stayed in the ring. He proved at the time that you can be a star in both worlds, turning wrestling into pop culture gold. If you think about it, without him, does Hulk Hogan do No Holds Barred in 1989? Does The Rock go from WWE to Hollywood blockbusters? John Cena's even called out wrestlers turned actors in interviews, but folks online say Santo's the OG. One Reddit thread compares him to The Rock, saying Santo's like if The Rock never showed his face and fought real monsters. In Mexico, he's bigger than Hogan or Cena in the US. Statues, comics, even Disney nods like in Coco, where a wrestler poster looks just like him. But like any story, it's not all glory. Santo's life had heartbreaks. He married young, had 11 kids, but kept his identity secret, even from them sometimes. His youngest son, Jorge, becomes El Hijo del Santo, son of the saint, and carries the legacy. Santo eventually retires in 1982 with a farewell tour, winning his last match at 65, teaming with legends like Gory Guerrero. Yeah, Eddie Guerrero's dad. Then in 1984, on a TV show, he shocks everyone by lifting his mask just enough to show his face. It's like Superman revealing he's Clark Kent. And then the sad part hits. A week later, he dies of a heart attack at 66. His funeral was massive. Tens of thousands mourned. It was like losing a national hero for them. And here's a fun little tidbit. Santo fought Nazis in early movies, tying into lucha libre's anti-fascist roots. And in one film, he's a cowboy fighting lepers. Yeah, I said lepers. His movies inspired stuff like the 1960s Batman TV show with that over-the-top campiness. It's just no wonder he's in the WWE Hall of Fame. So when you really boil it down, it's not just that a masked guy from Mexico started it all. It's that he created the entire playbook. Every time a wrestler steps out of the ring and onto a movie set, they're walking a path that El Santo carved out with his own two hands. He was the living proof that an audience would follow their hero anywhere. From a wrestling arena to a movie theater, from fighting a rival to fighting Dracula's minions. The Rock, John Cena, Dave Bautista, Hulk Hogan, they're all global superstars, no doubt, but they were given a roadmap. El Santo had a blank map and a silver mask, and he drew a whole new world on it. A world where a wrestler could be the biggest action hero of them all. He wasn't playing a character, he was the character. And that's a level of legendary that might never be topped, especially nowadays. But hey, that's just my take. Now I want to hear from you. Who is the greatest wrestler turned actor of all time? Is it The Rock? Is it Roddy Piper? Or does the original trailblazer El Santo get your vote for building the whole damn thing? Let me know your pick down in the comments. And if you had fun diving into this piece of forgotten history, do me a huge favor and smash that like button and subscribe for more stories you won't find anywhere else, at least in my bubble. Hopefully not too many fluent Spanish speakers were harmed in the making of this video due to my horrendous pronunciations, but I can't thank you enough for watching. And as always, the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone, but what do I know? I'm but a mere jackass. I'll try to do better next time. Catch you later, friends.
That talks too much. I'm just a jackass of all trades. Don't know shit. I'll keep on talking, acting like I'm so legit. From politics to sports, I'll spout my